What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you didn't know, the World Cup for FC25 is going on and actually ended. Right now there is a world champion. I got to the semifinals, watched a lot of great football, a lot of tragic endings, insane endings along the way, and we are going to cover one of the biggest. This player you're seeing in the bottom right, Tex, a legendary content creator and player, still no world championship. He's been playing great, or did play great this entire tournament, but he himself had a tragic exit with one very rookie-like mistake to end the tournament, to end a great run for him where he was playing excellent and could have went on to win the whole thing. And it was a great lesson that just goes to show no matter how good you're playing, this game is very unforgiving, and many times you are going to get results like that where you're playing insane and nothing seems to go right, or you are playing terrible and somehow you keep winning. It can be a roller coaster of a game, just like real football. And that was the case not only for Tex, but for this man right here, VEJRGANG, the #1 player in the world, a once-in-a-generation type talent, an Mbappe type talent on the sticks, right? He is a former world champion last year. And even aside from just all of his trophies, just a tremendous player on a different level than any other professional player. And that's what makes this even more insane, right? This player that he's facing right now in the quarterfinals, who goes by the amazing name of Crazy Fakhr, because his name is Fakhr, F-A-K-H-R, as you see on the bottom right. He beat this man, Anders beat this man 10-2 the day before. They both advance. Now, unfortunately for Fakhr, he's got to face the best player in the world that also just stomped him, right? Well, you would think that. However, as you can see, it's early on, only 7 minutes in, but pretty evenly matched so far. However, Anders is just feeling things out, right? I mean, he already did have, a chance early on. He could be up 1-0 easily. He's just playing around. Surely he's going to take over and dominate like he did the day before, right? Oh, wait. Another missed chance? Those tend to add up, and as we know, if there's one downside to Anders, it's his mental strength, right? He isn't very mentally strong. It takes just a few things going wrong and you'll hear him through the mic. Just everything's the end of the world. I'm the worst ever. Of course I'm going to lose. This is going wrong. That's going wrong. Worried about the crowd. Worried about everything but the game. That's his one big downside. But also you could say that that craziness is what drives him to be the best as well. So it's a double-edged sword. However, in this game you can see the pattern already. Some things are going wrong. He's missing chances that he normally wouldn't miss. The opponent is definitely playing sharper. You can just tell. You don't have to know or see a 10-2 loss. You can just imagine how that game went, right? And already the opponent clearly did his homework. Maybe he gained confidence. Maybe he just came in totally phased out because he's facing a once-in-a-generation type player and realized, I lost the game before I got into it. And now he's playing better. Who knows exactly what it is, but he definitely doesn't look like an opponent that is going to let up 10 goals in this game, that's for sure. He definitely doesn't look like an opponent that is intimidated. He's playing very confidently, very matter-of-fact. You see a lot of great pinging around, whereas Anders, who's normally a more direct player, more in-your-face, making those insane passes, having that insane vision that other players don't have, very aggressive defense, winning the ball back immediately, which some of that's there. It's not like it's totally not, but little things like that, forcing passes, easy giveaways that are not indicative of the normal football we see from VEJRGANG on the sticks. So right now you're starting to get everyone's attention. I know as I was watching this and the game's still tied, not only that, but I'm seeing Anders' reactions. I'm seeing some of the silly mistakes, and it just reminds me he's only lost 7 games to this point, right? 7 games. I want you to think about that. That includes champs, rivals, all that. Now, many of these pros have a second account that they train on. They try different things and stuff, and they do that so players don't recognize them and then start trolling so they can get actual games in. And then, of course, if they do lose, they don't want everybody and their brother who beats them to go crazy posting about it, you know, recording the game, showing it. So maybe he does have one of those accounts in which he lost, but officially 7 losses only. I want you to think of how insane that is, okay? If you lose 7 games in a weekend league, that's what? 8 and 7, okay? 8 and 7. There's players that do that on a weekly basis. And if they don't do it on a weekly basis, within a couple weeks, they have well over 7 losses, not just in champs, but you have to include rivals, any cups and stuff going on. VEJRGANG, 7 losses in which he's playing in a lot of tournaments and in different events and stuff against the best players in the world. So his competition is much stronger than all the average players. Obviously, he's not an average player, but even for a pro, as we talked about before, that's just superhuman, right? And so it would be easy to get psyched out. However, in that case, you could say maybe it was an advantage for Fokker, crazy Fokker that is, to have played and got demolished by VEJRGANG because he has nothing to lose. And now that aura, I should say, of invincibility is gone. I mean, getting beat 10-2 seems pretty hopeless, I get it, but we all know the type of game, particularly FC25 is, where it can get out of hand quickly, right? And that very well could have been a huge bonus for Crazy Fokker because he was able to kind of get all the kinks out of his system, get that fear exercised out of his system, and he realizes that anything can happen. Leave it all out on the pitch. That's surely what it seems like. I mean, I didn't hear the interview from him. I don't to this point know anything about him. It's just knowing how a competitor thinks and seeing the confidence in which he's playing with, seeing the focus he has, his reactions to different situations in comparison to VEJRGANG. When you read between the lines, as you always hear me say, you can really get a lot of information. Sometimes reading between the lines, looking at facial expressions, reactions, things like that, says a lot more than words. These people can very easily put on a front with their words. They could be playing terrible, scared to death, but speak with the utmost confidence. So, still 0-0. We're approaching the end of the first half, and surely at this point the advantage has to go to Crazy Fokker. Why do you say that? Because, as we know, as I said earlier, VEJRGANG, his one downside, mentally weak. As soon as things start going wrong, he gets frazzled, and his mistakes start to compound, which isn't just an Anders problem, right? We see many competitors with this issue, and in fact, I would say virtually all competitors deal with this demon, but some exercise it out better than others. And I would say Anders, as good as he is one of the competitors that isn't so good at exercising this demon out, where things start to go wrong and then the negative thoughts flow in and it affects how they play. They don't play up to the level they normally can, right? And sure enough, like clockwork, focus on the bottom left of the screen. Unfortunately, they minimized it, and you see a Bobby Charlton glitchy Trivela shot, which is why FC26 those are nerfed out. There's no more Trivela Plus. It's combined into another playstyle plus, so less players will be able to shoot those Trivelas, and they won't be as OP. You see how OP they can be, which this is the type of game this would happen in, right? One of those glitchy types of goals. Of course, you see the reaction there. You start to get that, this is unfair, look at this nonsense. Of course he would score that. I'm definitely going to lose now. The game is against me, right? I mean, yes, it sucks to give up that goal in this type of game where the opponent didn't beat your defense, he didn't break you down, and he was still able to get a goal. This is exactly why that kind of shot was nerfed. However, Crazy Fokker using what's at his disposal, and now he's up 1-0, again, against the best player in the world who he just got stomped by the day before. In a quarterfinal, against an opponent, by the way, that we know doesn't handle these types of things well. We're already seeing the reactions. We're already seeing the focus go to the crowd. He can't wait to shush them. he's missing more and more and more chances that he never would normally miss. I mean, he's insane at finding ways to put those in the net. These players practice every aspect of the game, so their goalie movement, it's always phenomenal, but VEJRGANG's finishing is usually better nonetheless. And yet, that's about what, the third or fourth one of those breakthroughs that he's missed, and just overall making a lot of mistakes that he wouldn't normally make. So, 1-0 heading into halftime. But we had one more major indicator right here, and a chance that was even better than all the other ones VEJRGANG missed, and it was the last play before half. So that means that miss to tie the game is lingering in VEJRGANG's head as we go into halftime. I mean, I want you to think about that. It would be tough for any player to overcome all these things going against you, right? We've all been there. And when you think about this player in particular and how he handles adversity, this couldn't be a better scenario for Crazy Fokker. However, he's still facing the best player in the world that's capable of doing incredible things on the sticks. He still has the thought lingering in his head that a day before, probably not even 24 hours, he lost to the same opponent 10-2. So it's still very much a game that anything could happen. But one of the biggest takeaways for us regular players that put a lot of hours in, that get mentally frazzled by this game all the time, it's a good lesson in how much of a mental battle FC is, right? The go-to for a lot of players is, oh, it's just a game, it doesn't matter. And if you truly feel that and don't just say it after a loss, for instance, then you actually have a huge advantage, right? Because you can play more relaxed and probably play better in these tough situations. But when you are a true competitor where everything you compete in matters, it doesn't matter if you're flipping a coin, it doesn't matter what you're doing, these kind of things can easily get you going, right? Now, obviously, players like VEJRGANG Fokker, I know for a fact VEJRGANG are extremely competitive. Usually when you make it to this level, you're not only very skilled, you're also extremely competitive. And you add to that the amount of money that's on the line, the prestige, the big production that's around this, the fact that so many eyes are on this, it becomes an even bigger deal as we see. Look at the reaction. VEJRGANG couldn't wait to do this, right? Now, this is going to be either a turning point where everything starts to go right for VEJRGANG, or we're going to see if Fokker is the real deal and wasn't just getting a really mentally off VEJRGANG, right? If he starts to take over right off the bat, then we know Fokker was just dealing with a player in VEJRGANG that was defeating himself. If Fokker stays in the game here, then we know he's a real deal and he really did make changes after that 10-2 crushing he faced the day before. So, as we see this game tied up at 1, the next several minutes are a big factor. And what we see here as we fast forwarded, the game remained 1-1. So, at this point, it's anybody's game. Now, why is that? It's because there's no way that Fokker could have lasted this long remaining in the game if he wasn't the real deal. If he didn't just have an off day where he lost 10-2, or if he just got lucky and played a mentally off VEJRGANG like I said earlier. By now, especially after VEJRGANG got that tying goal, he would have came to, so to speak. So at this point, you're seeing a calm and collected Fokker, not shaken by the fact that he was up 1-0, VEJRGANG tied it. You see a very shaken VEJRGANG that is feeling the pressure of the moment. Now, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, just looking at the way these two players are reacting, just looking at their expressions as the game goes on, I would be betting on Fokker, because it takes just one mistake. When you're playing at this level, the game's tied, just one mistake, and so the more focused player, the more mentally strong player, that's the one you want to bet on to come through. And you see the ball control here. You see that there's no chance at all that VEJRGANG was going to win that ball back. I mean, the focus, the attention to detail, and on VEJRGANG's side, the lack of his typical aggressive defense, right? If you know VEJRGANG, then you know that isn't how he typically plays at all. He was definitely standoffish. He definitely was feeling the moment and a bit fearful of his opponent. One that he scored 10 on and only gave up 2 the day before. Yet, he's backing off. I mean, everything he did in this game showed you why anybody can be beaten at any given time. If you stay focused, if you play your game, if you aren't psyching yourself out, beating yourself before the game even starts, you can beat anybody. Now, this goes for any sport. If you played yourself, you've seen many of these moments, but within gaming itself, within FC itself, watching the best player in the world crumble in this way, unfortunately for VEJRGANG, is a huge tool to learn from for all of us. Because this is what happens when you mentally crumble. At the same time, on the other end, this is what happens when you mentally stay strong if you're Crazy Fokker. And it's not as if we didn't see enough already, but the one last chance that VEJRGANG has, he just totally gives the ball away. Zero focus, zero belief that he could take the ball down and score, even though if any player could do it, typically it would be VEJRGANG. But he just was already beat. He was beat well before that second goal by Fokker. He beat himself mentally probably a few minutes into the game when he missed the second or third chance and just decided nothing's going my way, the world's against me, woe is me, instead of buckling down, staying focused, playing his game, and persevering. So he absolutely has to go to the drawing board, but this type of thing happened. The crushing defeat he faced, I forgot his name, he was playing for Ajax at the time, who then did VEJRGANG's celebration against him because VEJRGANG's very loud when he scores, and VEJRGANG came back with a vengeance. I mean, everybody was his enemy, and he just dominated. He was talking crap throughout, no one could do anything, and you better believe he is going to hear all the talk, and he is going to come back hungrier than ever. But, again, this is a great example as to how staying mentally strong absolutely plays a role, not just in real sports, but on the sticks as well. If you like this video, please smash that button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so.